essentially to have this role play system requires a couple things. So you need to have a designed role play partner. I mean, you could essentially explain this at the beginning of each role play and just keep moving on, but that's gonna defeat the
Yeah,
purpose of being efficient.
that's true.
So yeah, it's essentially just four main rules. Number one, everything has to be predefined. You've already decided what you're gonna drill, how long it's gonna take, everything. And as I said, sales or a whole sales call divides into two things, and that is the part of the call, like the whole structure of the call, and think about this as the skeleton, right? The skeleton of the human body tells you where things are and gives whole structure so that things don't fall apart. So that's what we know of. Yeah, the intro, the consequence, the feature pacing, objection handling. Those are parts, and they normally have a time already. So you know that a good discovery is like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes max, and then beyond that, you're just fucking up.
Yep.
And and that's like the most important thing to have predefined, like what part of the code we're gonna focus on right now.
Yeah.
Because well, as Bruce Lee said, it's better to train 1,000 one kick 1,000 times and not 1,000 different kicks. Right. So if you
Yeah.
go making a whole call every single time, that's just way harder. It's not efficient. And then the
True.
second thing is the skill that we're gonna be training. Because if the part of the call is the skeleton, the skill is the muscle, right? And when we made a whole list of things that we wanted to train, we were combining both parts of the call and skills. And it's not really one or the other, it's both. So I remember we talked about, oh yeah, we have to train call efficiency, we have to train to never move on and always get the answer that we're looking for. We have to train our energy levels, the lead engagement, the compliance, bullshit removing. All those things are skills, right? But
Yep.
you can train any of those skills or any skill with any part of the call, right? It's like two axis type of thing. That's part of the
Yeah.
call, which is determined by the time. But then there's the skill that gets matched with that time, with that part of the call.
Yep.
Because obviously, and some situations are more frequently than others, but you could train to never move on the intro. What if
Yeah, that's true.
the prospect like super stubborn and he wants to take up control? You can train lead engagement in objective handling. You can train compliance utilizing bullshit removing anything throughout any part of the call, right?
Yeah.
So then to have everything predefined means to pretty much just have the part of the call that we're going to train, the skill, and the context of the industry. So obviously, it is good to train a couple different industries, but for a whole week or maybe even 2 weeks, if you're not training every day, it is good that you tell your partner, hey, for this week, I'm going to be doing fitness, right? And you stick with that for the whole week or for the whole 2 weeks or whatnot. And then there's one interesting thing that I want to try, and that is to have the skill that we're going to train, obviously defined, but not previously. In terms
Mm.
of, let's say I'm the closer, and I say, okay, let's train the intro right from the top.
Yep.
And it's a fitness offer. So I know I'm a fitness offer. I know we're doing the intro, which is like 5 minutes, shouldn't be more. And that way we can like really do it multiple times.
Yeah, and do
And we
like
know
top
when to
prospects and
start, we know
stuff.
when to stop. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And that way we won't go into consequence, future phase. No, we know when to stop. But the skill that you're gonna test me with, because obviously you're the prospect, you choose how you're gonna behave. You don't tell me that. Like
Yeah.
you already choose, okay, I'm gonna test him on this skill. I'm really gonna give him a hard time on, and then you decide.
Hmm.
But you don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
See? And you don't have to have it previously uh, like defined weeks or days. No, you can do it right on the spot.
Yeah, staying flexible.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, you can test me on multiple skills at the same time.
Mm.
You could also not test me on any skill and be the perfect ideal prospect. And then I'll be like
Yeah.
overthinking and trying to do
Yeah,
things
I'm
when I
trying
don't
to
do them
find
right.
something. Yeah.
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 So you have full freedom. Like ideally, you match your difficult level to my skill level so that I can get better, of course. We're not gonna be the toughest, most
Yeah, in that flow
hard
state.
prospects. And yeah, exactly. But that's the part that is a variable, right? Whereas the predefined thing is the part of the call. And then obviously once a week, if we're training every day or every once in a while, you do the full call.
Yeah.
Or you start combining bigger chunks of the parts of the call. So instead of just the intro, then you do like half of the call, right?
Yeah, yeah, like
But the
the
whole
discovery.
deal is that
Hmm.
exactly that is pretty fine, and that's the role play schedule. And I made a role play schedule. I don't know if you can see, but in the description of our recurrent event, I don't
Mm.
know, maybe I can share screen and show real quick.
Yeah, I see. Monday intro 5 minutes. Tuesday bottleneck 10 minutes. Consequence.
Exactly.
Future pace objection. Full call. Mm. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Let's see.
because I was assuming we're gonna role play every day, and
Yeah, like
it's
six
just
times.
easier. Yeah, like 6 times, and it's just easier to
What
break
what
up
is
the
this like
call.
5 minutes? Is it like the time limit then? 5 minutes for
Yeah,
each
just a
part?
reference of like ideally how much it should last. You
Okay.
don't have to follow at all, but I do feel like having a timer or something to track, like visually track how much are we spending per quick sparring session per drill, is very
Yep.
helpful.
Yeah, interesting.
So
Interesting. So then you drill like intro, say 4 times on Monday, right? Just run
exactly.
it like for 20 minutes with 10 minutes of feedback and like iterations, and then swap.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
like
pretty
it.
much. And
Mm,
then the feedback is gonna be very straightforward. Like because if we role play with no definition, with just like however we've been doing and how most people do it, then the feedback is just this huge list of things, and you don't know
yeah.
which one really you're gonna focus or which
Yeah,
is gonna
yeah,
be the
that's true.
right.
You just have a feel for
So
it, but it's not, yeah, not strategic. True.
yeah. So the idea is to narrow down the things that you can fuck up.
Hmm.
So you know really just that one thing that you did fuck up that you have to train next Monday that we do intro Monday, or next Tuesday that we do consequence Tuesday, or whatever it is. Like bring it with
Yeah,
like a catching game like that. I think is easy to remember, easy to follow. So that's one thing, and I think that's I'd say the best thing in terms of efficiency.
yeah,
Um, Actually, the second thing I already said, which is constant industry context, is just another thing where you already know not only what type of industry you're going to be selling, but your partner already knows what type of prospect to be.
yeah. So he's like more trained, more
Exactly.
realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. Then third, this one's also really fucking interesting. It's gonna more than efficient. It's gonna level up how good you become as a closer, and it's what I call the coach to coach system.
Okay. Let's hear
Basically,
it.
so we know the skills that we have to train, or maybe we don't know, but we can come up with those. Or as you become a better closer, you realize, hey, this is a skill that I need. You realize, okay, reframes are a thing. You realize, okay, not to move on, it's a skill or these different things. So with some of the best skills that, like the most important skills that we need, the best skills that a closer could have, we have a rubric. And the whole point is that when I'm a prospect, I'm not only a prospect, I'm a judge. Right? I'm judging how good of a closer you are. But then I also want to be a coach because I want to coach you.
Yeah,
And the mentality is the person who is playing a prospect, who is training you, like is playing a prospect at the end of the day. He's your sensei, right?
yeah, yeah.
The whole point is that you have this skill rubric and you're like analyzing, okay, how good is he doing this skill? How good is he doing that skill? And you are basically believing that you're training your future business partner. And you, as the person closing, you let yourself be, not like you literally just take the advice and you do anything that they say because it does a couple of different things. Number one, you're very unbiased when you're a coach and you are literally checking the points of improvement of the other person. You also get humbled, as in, wow, I really have to be a good, not only I want to become a good closer, I have to become a good coach. Because I don't know you, but at least I really want to get to a point where I can handle a team of closers and lead the team to, yeah, pretty much success.
Yeah, so you also
So it's
think
gonna,
of like, okay, how can I be a better prospect and then a better coach? Like give the value to the
yeah,
person, not just how can I be a better closer on my part.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I feel as well.
And then there's another layer to it, and is that my responsibility as a coach, as your coach, is for you to get good. Like for you to
Yeah,
that next time we talk, we for sure you for sure get better, and the next time you for sure get better. And I have to like it's my responsibility to keep track of that, to objectively find out your weak spots and objectively test you on those weak spots, and then explain to you and make you understand everything. And that's why like my whole idea would be for like right now I'm gonna start a document. Well, I like to write things manually, so it's gonna be just a page on my notebook, but it's gonna be called like Andrew, and I'm gonna
yeah,
do a full on analysis of your skill level. Everything's like my responsibility for you to get better. And then your mentality should be like same thing. You open up fucking documents, like analyzing my skill level, and you do everything on your power for me to get better. And that's like
yeah.
an
It's
amazing level
true.
of accountability
Mhm.
and authority that you're also letting the other person have, and responsibility that you are gaining for the skill that the other person has to grow, so that it just becomes crazy efficient.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Love that. So
It's good.
extreme, yeah, extreme call structure so that we hop on every day and we know exactly what we're going to train. Then
Mm-hmm.
the flexibility in terms of the skills that we use of those like micro skills of, not letting the bullshit
Mm-hmm.
slide or cutting through it or interrupting people, like those mini skills are more in randomized order within that framework
Mm-hmm.
of the call that we set. And then the third point is to be also extreme on the coaching side and to really
Yeah.
make sure that because we are consistent, like partners and we know each other and we fit better, as like prospects, we become also better as we keep role playing, we get industry specific. But more importantly, we actually make like a personalized game plan of how to tackle, biggest weaknesses and develop biggest strengths of another person.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Just like that. You got it
love it.
perfectly.
I love that.
And I think it's really good because it's such a simple system that you can, if you have someone that is in the same mindset as you and whatnot, you can train every day very efficiently. So yeah, it's a plug and play. I think it's worth a good amount of money. And if
True.
if this was taught to the right team, sales team or whatever, I think it could explode. But we are gonna be the ones testing it and perfecting it.
Yeah, yeah, the actual like system itself, right? Because
Yeah,
like we have this
yeah,
outline and now we have to like practice it and iterate.
exactly. So it's pretty good. I'm
Amazing.
super excited to try it out. The fourth and the last pillar is basically just basic rules, right? Like be on time, take it as seriously, if not more than the actual sales calls. To interrupt the other person or give brutally honest feedback is okay. These type of things, right? Just be on time, be a
Yep.
good person. That's it.
Yep. Sure.
So yeah,
Brutal
any thoughts?
accountability. Okay.
Any opinions?
Yeah, I love that. It's very interesting. I think I've done most of it except for coaching. Like I was my own
Mm,
self-coach in a way. But how I found my role plays to get me, to be better at the best is, for example, with the objections. I have, my like 7 objections that I practice, and those are like 80/20. And I
mhm,
was hopping on like 8 calls a day or 6 calls a day with different people. And I was like, okay, today I just practiced this objection. And I was very
mhm,
staying flexible with it as well, in terms of I have a plan. Like I want to get good at the partner objection, for example. I remember like role playing it with you and a couple other guys at the moment.
mhm,
And then after the end of the day, I was like, I still don't get it though. Like I'm, not
mhm,
there yet. So I just extended it for another half a day, knowing that the next step would be fear objection, for example. Right. So I took
mhm.
another 4 calls and I was like, okay, I got the partner objection. Now let's move on. So it's like a very
Yeah.
fantastic story of how it was similar, but also the improvement that I feel like we can get in that system. Because, for example, as you wrote it out in our recurrent meetings, for like Monday intro, Tuesday bottleneck. What if the bottleneck, for example, is like so much more important than consequence and future pace, and you're still
Mhm,
stuck at it? It feels like it would make sense to do, for example, 2 days on
mhm.
it, or to spend some more time on it, if you get what I'm saying. So also
Yeah.
add in that awareness that each part of the call isn't equal, and that first
Yeah.
parts are probably more important, right? Because you can not future pace, you can not consequence people, and you can not even do objection handling if the first parts are
Mhm.
right. So I feel like
Yeah.
introducing that awareness and that prioritization system is gonna, perfect it. Just from my experience,
No, yeah,
and
that's good. That's good. And that's
I
something
feel
that can totally be done.
yeah,
It's just a matter of defining it previously so that on the call, you're just not wasting time thinking, I don't know what I'm good at. I don't know what I should
yeah,
do.
yeah,
So as long as we go ahead and say like, okay, next meeting is this, but maybe we should just keep doing this, then that's fine. And that's why initially I would like to go through every single part of the call
yeah, to feel
in a
each
week.
part.
Yeah, because sometimes because we've never trained specifically just that short part that is the bottleneck, right? Maybe we dedicate a whole hour, maybe even 2 hours, depending on how much you put into this. Maybe that is enough for you to finally get the concept. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
not,
that's true. But it
but and
should
then
be in a system, clearly
yeah,
defined and stuff. Yeah,
and then okay, so if today I have this and I know that this is difficult for me, I'm gonna load my brain with information previously and do my homework, especially maybe if you have a good coach that tells you to do that, right?
yeah,
And recommends you good sources and stuff, then ideally an hour is enough. A whole session of drilling the same thing is enough for you to perfect the kick. But if not, then obviously you can say, okay, well, next week, like the first week would be like to go through everything. And then you as a coach, you say like, okay, he needs more time on this skill, whatever. We're gonna plan out the next week, doing
yeah,
like the whole week just objection handling, for example,
yeah, yeah.
or whatever.
If you see there is
But
the
yeah,
weakness, yeah,
that's the principle basically.
yeah. Okay, I love that. Yeah, so it's like, the structure stays the same as just how we plan it.
Yeah,
Is based on the prioritization, but first we run every part just to get a feel for the overall ability of the
yeah.
person. Okay.
And because at the end, also knowing how to conduct each part of the call, it's a skill,
Yeah.
but it's pretty straightforward. Like with the ideal prospect, anybody can do it. Anybody can put an
Read out
intro to the
5 questions,
call.
right? And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's really easy. But the skill, because hell, you could objection handle at the intro.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
real, like it's not common at all, but someone could be like, why do we have to have a call for this? I just wanna know the price, right? That's a little
Yeah,
bit you
or
can I feel like it's a mental when you objection handle, not a framework, it's not a structure, it's a mentality that you have.
yeah, throughout the entire call, yeah. Because like the guy
Yeah,
doesn't want to turn on his camera. What do you do? You have to call it out. You have to objection handle
exactly.
him on that, right? And
There you go. There
so yeah,
you
love
go.
that. That's
And
true.
as I said, the skill is always variable. So if you are with some, like if I notice, oh no, Andrew is really bad at objection handling, we're not gonna go to only the price objection, like objections part of the call to
Yeah,
objection
cost
handle.
price. Yep.
I'm gonna give you objections to every single part of the call, so
Yeah,
that
I
you
love it.
really get the skill and the mindset instead of memorizing a couple questions that you ask back and forth, and you end up like being confused and as a mediocre closer.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense actually. And it's also incredibly like funny how
Mm-hmm.
coincidental it is because like how many role plays have you done as a closer? Say
I
approximately.
have no idea. Between 40 and 70.
Between 40 and 70. Nice, nice. I've done like over 200 at this point. So I have
Okay.
like quite a bit of context on how the closer
Mm-hmm.
call looks like. But I don't think I'm gonna practice like closer call on our
Okay.
sessions. It's probably gonna be setting. But for setter role plays, I probably have less than 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah,
have
and you have
more
been setting,
setting
right?
role plays. Yes.
And you have been setting and role
I do have for
playing.
sure more than 100 setter role plays,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have like so few experience. And this part of the objection it just reminded me because throughout the setting call, you get like
Mm-hmm.
the objections probably more frequently than in like closer calls, right?
Mhm.
Because in closers, like what could
Okay.
realistically it be like the guy takes a call from McDonald's for fitness, or he doesn't want his camera on, or it's like what's the price, or he gets frustrated, like main
Mhm.
objections, right? But in there, in the setter call, there's so many like objections throughout, right? Where you can piss people off and
Yeah.
like they can
Yeah,
hang
that's
up and
true.
like, oh, I'm busy, and oh, what's the price? Oh, like, is it
Yeah.
paid? Oh, like I don't want this. You know, there's just more objections throughout the call than in the end.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's
so we can
very,
definitely
very interesting.
put to the test this system for setting role plays and setting calls as well. I think it'd work just as fine. And yeah, like I've done a bunch of settings, so we can make another video on the difference between setting and closing and those role plays and the skills required, which in general is like at setting, you need like micro skills are more important, whereas in the closing call, macro skills are more important.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I can explain that even further. Like they're both important in both calls, but it's like something is gonna train you in a different way than the other thing is gonna train you. But that's a whole different story. It's a whole different video. As for right now, I wanted to explain to you this system, and I think it's
yeah.
gonna work
That's
just as
definitely
fine if you roleplay setting or closing.